Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. This is going to be my weekly wrap up for the week ending November 30th. This week, we concluded our reading of the plays and stories of Anton Chekhov, and we read two stories this week. We read Gooseberries and The Lady with the Dog. I much preferred this week's stories to last week's novella, Ward Number 6, which I found to be very dark. Um, I think The Lady with the Dog might be my favorite reading from this whole month. It's maybe tied with the first play that we read, which was The Seagull. But I really liked this final story that we read, The Lady with the Dog. This is a story about a character, Dmitry Gurov, who is he's something of a creep at the beginning of the story. He is a married man who has a very condescending attitude toward his wife in the way that he talks about her. We don't actually meet her. Um, and he kind of has a condescending attitude toward women in general. And he's something of a womanizer. In this story, he meets the the lady with the dog of the title of the story, one Anna Sergeyevna, I think is how you would say it. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but Sergeyevna, I think is how it is, who is also a married person. They start an affair, which in the beginning is kind of par for the course for Dmitri. But as they become more involved, it becomes apparent that this relationship is different. This is different from other affairs that he has had. And soon something happens, and he actually changes. This is a story where the main character actually does change, and he changes because of this relationship with Anna. That's all I'm going to say about the story. I don't want to spoil it. Um, I did discover that Joyce Carol Oates in the 1970s wrote a story based on this story, and she entitled her story "The Lady with the Pet Dog." She moved her story to the United States, and the perspective is mostly the perspective of Anna in Joyce Carol Oates' story. I really enjoyed that story as well. So this was, I thought, a very good conclusion to this reading event, Chekhovember. I also finished this week reading Matt Haig's The Life Impossible. And this is the book that my in-person book group is reading and discussing during the first week of December. I really liked this book a lot. I've been kind of on a Matt Haig kick of late. I have been reading some of his, back novels, and I find him to be a very positive and uplifting author. This book was no exception. I don't want to go into any real detail about it until after my group has had a chance to meet and talk about it. I will just say that it's a novel about a retired teacher. So right off the bat, I was for obvious reasons, I guess I was interested in her character. Grace Winters is the main character, and she's a 72-year-old retired math teacher. The novel is told in the form of really a letter. She gets a letter from a former student of hers who has come by some hard times, and he's reaching out to her. And then most of the novel is her response to him. And she describes in it this adventure that she goes on when someone that she hasn't seen for decades leaves her a house on a Mediterranean island. And she decides, to kind of just leave her current life, which is, kind of a very lonely life, and she decides to go to this island and see what this is all about. And what she finds is that it is still possible to have life-changing things occur in your life, even when you think that that just isn't going to happen anymore. I mean, she's a woman who has recently suffered the loss of her husband, but many years before, she lost her only child, and that is something she could never ever overcome, and she's been grieving for her her entire life, and she finds that there's another chance, basically, at life on this island. So that's all I'm going to say about it until after we've had a chance to talk about it. But I have found it to be a very uplifting story, and just what I needed right now. So I'm going to do a review of it after we've had a chance to talk about it. I'd love to see more people reading this book and talking about it. The other thing that I finished this week was Claudia Piñeiro's Time of the Flies. And we are reading and discussing this in a Voxer group called the Pineiro Project, where we're reading all of the works of this Argentinian crime writer that have been translated into English. This book, Time of the Flies, is the most recent novel that she's written that has been translated into English. And it is the sequel to a much older novel entitled All Yours, which we read in early November. Again, we're going to be talking about this in our group for another week, and so I won't talk about the novel in any detail now until everybody's had a chance to finish and to weigh in in the Voxer group. But I think everybody in the group is just really very impressed with the work of Claudia Piñeiro. She's an Argentinian crime writer who uses that genre to talk about really important social issues, and particularly, at least in the ones I've read so far, particularly issues of great concern to women. Also this week I did a special Thanksgiving Poetry Thursday episode in which I focused on the theme of gratitude, and I read a few poems by Joy Harjo, Lynn Unger, Mary Oliver, and Alberto Rios. And again, the theme was Thanksgiving and gratitude. So that's what I've read and what I've completed this week. I'm very much looking forward to December and the events that I've decided to participate in. I'm going to be doing the Christmas Ghost Stories reading event. This is a new event this year, and I'll put all of the hosts in the notes below. But I'm very much looking forward to that reading event, and I'm also really looking forward to my buddy read with my buddy Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics. We're going to be reading Ronan, Hession's Leonard, and Hungry Paul. And from what everybody has said, this is the perfect book for a buddy read, and the perfect book for this time of year as well. And then I'm also looking forward to our continued reading of banned books in the Fable group. I'm with the banned book club, and we started the club by reading the first of the Sarah J. Maas Akatar books, and we've read a couple of other novels, and now we're coming back to Sarah J. Maas again, and we'll be reading A Court of Mist and Fury during December. So those are some of the events that I'm looking forward to. I am determined going into December to read for joy and for comfort. And I hope that you are able to do the same. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.